We're live? We are live from the iconic Governor's Comedy Club on Hempstead Turnpike in Levittown. I'm Tom Galati. Thought that would be the easy part of tonight's show. Getting my name right. Tom Galati
Everything's
here.
uphill after that.
My co-host, Brett Fumara.
Good evening.
Good evening, Brett. We have a special guest tonight, a longtime friend of mine and Brett's, Mike Murphy. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening. Good evening.
So we're actually going to start first. Let me while we do this, I'm going to start sharing this out on Facebook. So Brett, you started telling me a funny story when we were chatting today. Actually, there were funny parts to the story.
Funny parts, but yeah, it definitely not funny. But so
not haha funny.
No,
ironic funny maybe.
It's a wave of stuff that comes into this moment.
Right,
so the main part is that my dad went for his COVID vaccine the other day.
That's
right. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. So he goes.
How old is he?
He's 77.
Oh God!
Goes by himself. He drives, and he goes to a place in Manhasset, which was going to give it to him. He gets out of his car, walks a couple of steps, boom, gets knocked over by a Chevy Suburban.
Wait, he was walking?
Walking from his car,
Hit by
couple
a car.
spots,
And he got hit?
Got hit. Chevy Suburban. That's all. Just a Suburban.
Oh.
Nice little tight compact car.
Right, exactly. Right. Small.
Backs up, knocks him over.
Oh,
He smashes his head. He got a little cut over there, dislocated his shoulder, and got a broken bone in his arm. Funny, right?
So the moral of the story is don't get the vaccine.
So that is what
dangerous.
I don't want to make it political, but don't get the vaccine.
Right.
No, of course, that's not it. But
All I know is what you people will go through to get a car story in this place.
Right. Exactly.
We're looking for funny stories, and then we weave the car in later.
Right.
Sometimes they just write themselves.
So that happened.
That's
so
ridiculous.
my parents got rid of their second car. Maybe about 6 months ago. It was
Suburban.
03. It was Suburban. And so now the guy they sold it to hit my dad.
Right.
And it was like, what are the odds in this?
How did that happen?
So my dad, okay, the shoulder's
to get his
back
money
in.
back.
He's got to be in a sling for 2 months. It's a pain, but thankfully he's okay.
a lot
and
of pain.
That's the
Right.
main thing.
Well, he's okay now.
He's
okay.
okay at the moment.
Right.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Remember when I said it was a funny story? I was just kidding. It's not.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So,
But
but
take us down.
But leading up to that, he broke his spare key to his car. First
Not
of all,
when the Suburban hit him.
when his Suburban hit him, no.
Right.
Leading up to this, so he's now in the hospital. He's got his car. My parents got rid of their second car, maybe like 6 months ago. We don't need it. We don't need it.
Now we need it.
Now we need it. And the spare key that my mom had was broken because it dropped and the battery came out and everything. It's like unrepairable at this moment. So the spare key that we have, we don't have it. So I have to go pick up my dad, 9:00 on Thursday night, and in Manhasset Hospital. And so I brought him home. So thankfully we had that, but the car was there the entire day. They were able to thankfully pick it up yesterday. So we don't have the car. We don't have the second car. The key's broken.
So
and
Dad
his
needs
cell
an
phone,
Uber, is what you're saying.
he
needs an
definitely
Uber,
needed that.
right.
He needs something. And his cell phone leading up to all this too was it's been locked and it's restarting. It's a mess. So he hasn't had a cell phone. So now I had to text him through my mom's cell phone, which he brought to the hospital. And then my mom at home, when she was calling me, the phone kept dropping out on the home phone because the cable, which obviously everything is cable phones for home phones these days, that kept dropping out from the storm a couple of months ago where everything's been spotty since. Right. So here we are going through this horrific situation and everything. So it's like this one big turn of event here. And now their lease is up on their car too. And that's where you come in,
so
buddy.
funny. We have Mike Murphy here.
That's where you come in, buddy.
Guru.
Give me a break. I didn't see that
See,
segue coming a
perfect.
million miles
Coming
away.
to you.
So smooth. This is the funny part of the story.
He
Mike
almost
Murphy.
killed his father just to do this
Just
story.
to do this.
Well, you
I
heard
said,
my
Dad,
solution, though.
I said, Dad, we need a topic. What do we
My
do?
solution is
Yeah, what's
What?
your solution?
Uber.
Uber. That's
Get
it.
an Uber.
So instead of paying a monthly fee,
Yeah, why would
For
you do that?
leasing.
It's so silly.
Right. Just pay as you
Right.
go.
Pay the Uber
One
as
trip
you
at a
go.
time.
77. Give him an Uber and call it a day. I mean, what are we doing here? Give him an Uber.
Okay, so Mike Murphy. I know Mike from middle school. right? We went back. I was in 7th grade. You were in.
sound
You were
old.
teaching at the time, right? That's how we met.
Yeah.
Mike's much older
Go
than I
screw
am.
yourself, Tom.
Mike's 1 year older than I am. We met in middle school, and Mike starts selling cars at Levittown Ford. It was Levittown
Well, I
Ford at the time?
started at,
No, it was called something else. Country Ford.
No, I started actually at Jaguar. Back in the day, it was Hicksville.
Oh, excuse
But
us.
it was
Sorry.
Sovereign Jaguar.
Oh, right.
Back in Hicksville.
And were you selling then?
So I was doing service stuff then,
Okay.
and they moved me to sell cars at Volkswagen,
you're-
Sovereign Volkswagen.
You're 18 years old, 19 years old.
I was probably. Hold on, let me think about this.
31?
Probably
This was last year.
right about last year. No, I was probably 20, right? Maybe 19. I was in college.
Right. I remember that.
19,
Right.
and I was going. I would do work with them, and I was doing tuxedos in Hicksville back in the day.
Right.
17,
That's where I got
18,
my tuxedo
I was
for my
managing.
my senior prom.
Yeah, so I was managing a tuxedo store in Hicksville. It was called Town and Country Tuxedos. I think they're long gone now. I think they're retired. But
What you left business was.
Went right
Yeah,
down,
went
right down the shitter.
Guys, I'm leaving to sell Jaguars.
exactly. No,
Please,
so
I
I was.
apologize.
Guys, I don't know if you noticed the Jaguar dealership down the road.
So I
They
was
recruited me. They said you look so great in your tux and selling them.
Right. No, so I was.
Come on.
I was looking for a job, so I ended up selling tuxedos at night. I was going to school in the morning, and then this woman approached me. I was at Broadway Mall, and she said to me, "I own the Jaguar Jaguar Volkswagen dealership in Hicksville." And she's like, "Can you come do service work for us?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." So I went to go do that. I was, at the time, CSI was a thing, right? Customer Service Index. So.
And the TV show.
CSI.
Not the
Miami.
TV
This is
show,
before the
not
CSI
Miami
show.
was the hit around then.
CSI Jaguar.
So she said to me, "Can you do our service calls, follow up with customers, and make sure everybody's completely satisfied?" Is what Jaguar wanted.
Hey, now.
Completely satisfied, and Volkswagen
last
was you
time
had to back in the day. Volkswagen, you had to check all the boxes. Yes.
Right.
Yes. 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 Are you happy? Happy. Happy. Yes. 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 So I did that for a little while, and then she said, "You're doing it great. Why don't you come to Volkswagen and sell cars?" So at the time, blue laws were in effect back in the day, and they turned around and they said, "We're going to open on Sundays. That's the new thing." So I said, "All right, we'll open on Sundays." So they
You
said,
didn't say
"Come
that's my Sabbath?
come sell cars on Sunday." So I went in there on Sunday. I sold 4 cars on a Sunday, Volkswagens. They never had been opened before. She's just like, "Oh, this is great, blah, blah, blah." So I went back over to her husband, who owned and ran the dealership at Jaguar, and I said to her, "How do I get paid on those 4 cars?" And he said to me, "Those are training cars." And I walked out the door, and I never saw them again. And I ended up, a friend of mine worked at Ford and said, "Come sell cars here at Ford." I said, "Okay."
Yes, it
and
was
I was there for
Country
5.
Ford at the time on
Country
Hempstead
Ford,
Turnpike, right next door.
which was a
to where we are now.
beautiful, family-owned, unbelievable country club. Great people. And I sold cars there for 5.5 years. And I saw these guys coming in and out of the place from all different kinds of vendors. Newsday, the banking companies, Capital One, Drive Financial, these little subprime banks. And I said, "These guys are working Monday through Friday," and I'm over here, and I met a girl, and
you're doing Wednesday 9 a.m. to
and
9
I'm
p.m.
working 9
You're doing
to
Sundays.
9s, and I can't shave my face because of what they're doing to these customers. No, Country was great back in the. No, it was great. Country was great. I ended up working for Sloopy for a couple of months. It was a real run around, like 12 hours a day, a lot of work. So.
That's definitely one of the. So there's a lot of upside to the car business. There's a lot of money to be had if you can
upside to
hustle.
the car business, correct.
One of the downside, though, I feel like anyone that I've ever spoken with who's worked at a dealership,
It's a lot of hours.
you
A
got
lot
to be
of
ready
hours.
for long hours.
I remember I worked at Staluppi and for the first time. Now this was back in 2000, and they said to me, "You're going to work this day, this day, this day." I said, "Do I have hours?" And they said, "Yeah, the hours are on the front door." I said, "Oh, okay." And then I remember I was working there on a late Friday night, and I had met a girl. This was my ex-wife at the time. I was madly in love, and I said, "I need time to myself." Everybody's going to engagement parties and celebrating
you were
holidays.
missing things.
And I'm working retail holidays. They're like, "Oh, guess what? It's Valentine's Day. Great, I want to take her out for dinner." No, it's time for a sale.
It's like Valentine's
I
Day
want to
sale.
live.
Right.
So my friends, I remember friends of mine, Pat and Josephine, they had a wonderful,
I remember them.
wonderful engagement party here.
That you missed?
And I was at Country.
At Governor's, they had
and
it
I
here?
was going to
Right
miss
here
it.
at Governor's Comedy Club.
in Levittown, right up the block.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, "I'm going to miss this. What am I going to do?" So my ex wife at the time was my girlfriend. She said to me, "You gotta be there. Like we gotta go.
Gotta put your foot down.
Right. So sure enough, I'm asking around in the dealership. I'm like, this job sucks. Working 12 hours a day. What can I do to change things? And they said to me, well, there's other jobs in the car business you can do. And then one Saturday afternoon, I think I saw a guy come in. He came in with a suit and he left. And I said to one of the finance managers, what does that guy do? And the girl in the finance department says, oh, he's an advertising guy. He doesn't work weekends, but he just stopped in and he was dropping off a copy of whatever we advertised. So I said, well, what do you mean he doesn't work weekends? And then he came back following week and he had like great suit on, Rolex, driving a 7 Series BMW. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy doesn't work weekends? What is he doing? And I'm working 9 to 9s? So she tells me to what he does. And I said, all right, well, I got to be a vendor. I want to be in the vendor space. And I went from selling cars to being on the vendor side. I was working Monday through Friday. I worked for a little company back in the day. It was a software company. At the time where we only had DOS, by the way. We didn't have an internet business. There was no internet, nothing. Nothing internet. So
you were selling Model T Fords?
So we were selling...
We would scream on the street corner.
We were selling...
Buy my Jaguar, please!
We were selling ridiculous Okie data printers, like old school shit. T1 lines came into the dealership. I mean, it makes us sound old, right?
Makes you sound old.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, I would give you are.
We always had the internet, Tom and I, so it's like, we don't really know what you're talking about.
So we did that for a little while, and I was in the vendor space, and I was like, this is great. Monday through Friday is unbelievable. I want to stay doing that. And I did for a little while. And then Mercedes-Benz, a friend of mine worked with Mercedes-Benz, and he said to me, come sell Mercedes. I ended up getting married to that girl who I was in love with back in the day.
Now your ex-wife.
My ex-wife, right? And I ended up selling Mercedes-Benz for a couple of years. And another bank approached me and said, hey, why don't you come work for us and be a vendor? At the time,
Municipal Credit Union. I'm like remembering when you were on the financial side.
Correct.
This is like a fun trip down memory lane.
Yeah,
for me,
right?
honestly.
It is, right.
And we haven't had this type of conversation in a while.
I'm just trying to think. So when I'm trying to think chronologically. I went from...
Well, listen, the show ends at 6:30,
right,
so
exactly.
if you could
What
fast
time you got?
forward
What
to...
time you got?
1992. Can we get
So
to
I
92?
went from...
Can we speed up to 1991?
Lease Star.
So we're at Chelsea Street and Zachary's, right?
And he was ordering lunch.
You know, somebody...
Correct.
So seriously, I just told somebody the other day that back in the day we used to go to Chelsea Street and Zachary's. That's where I met my ex-wife.
Right. I put on extra cologne just in case we went there tonight.
And you want to
Nice
laugh.
job with that.
So they said to me, last night I was talking to them about this. They said to me, oh, yeah, I remember that place. What else was in the parking lot? Because they knocked the whole building down. I said, they're going to I think they're putting a CarMax there. That's what's going there now.
Oh, that's
they're
interesting.
doing one there.
Let's go back to that too in a few
and they're
minutes
doing one in
because
Hop Hog.
Car
They're doing
Gurus, CarMax. I want to talk about that.
Okay.
At,
So
at,
I
8,
said-
at 8 o'clock when we
Right,
move on to the next
exactly.
one.
So I said, listen, not for nothing, but what was in there was there was a Dunkin' Donuts, there was a car wash, there was a White Castle. Whoa, wait a minute, White Castle. There's no White Castle there. 100,000%. You know how many
Correct.
times I got drunk
Correct.
Right.
at Chelsea Street and Zachary Street?
Right. You would get
We were
those shitty
20. We would walk
chicken
over to White Castle, get some
slider
shit
things.
steamed burgers, whatever it was,
Right.
and then we'd go to Colony Diner and eat breakfast.
Right.
Don't tell me there was no White Castle. The guy goes, there was no White Castle.
And none of us
There
could
was.
gain
He
weight.
calls a friend over. He goes, come here. You're from East Meadow. Was there ever a White Castle? The kid says, no. I said, you're not old enough.
Idiots. That's what it is.
They don't know.
Young
Morons.
idiots is what they were. It was a White Castle. Then it became a Home Depot, and now it's an empty
And
building.
now they
Right.
crushed it, and now it's going to be a CarMax.
Right.
That's what I heard.
So I just want to call out. So my sister Christine Galati is watching, and she said that's why I got out of selling cars. And I
Oh.
think that's the one that right. It's like the allure, the
hours.
money, all that stuff lures you
no, it
you
can
in.
be lucrative. If
No,
you're
right.
sharp, it can be lucrative.
But then it's like you're like
But
it's
it does
hard to
suck
have
the life
a
out
good
of you.
family.
12
and
hours a day.
Right.
You don't have your holidays. You don't have your weekends. And the summer comes along, and it's one thing in the winter. The sun goes down at 4 o'clock at night. You work until 9 o'clock. It's not the end of the world. But when the sun goes down at 9 o'clock,
right.
And you're like, I could have been on the beach all day, and
Right.
you sat here for 12 hours. It sucks.
And it's not uncommon too, because I remember meeting up with you a handful of times. Like then after they close the doors at 11 sometimes. So right, the last
Yeah,
customer leaves.
100%.
It's 11 o'clock,
Yeah,
and
you
what
gotta
happens?
stay.
All the sales reps like, hey, we're going out for drinks, right? And then you're going out for drinks, and it's like,
you got to stay, and
Right.
not to knock any of my buddies in the car
Yeah, no,
business.
but
It's
it's
great.
just-
I mean, I have friends of mine. My best friends are in the car business today, but I just to work those hours, and they make more money. Like they're great. They're doing good, but I couldn't. I just couldn't do those hours, and to have a family and the kids, and I give them a lot of credit. They work a lot of hours. Some of my closest friends say to me, I don't even know how I still do it. They make great money. Thinking of one friend of mine who's a general manager of a store, and he's crushing it. They want him to be a partner, but it's just too much hours.
it's hard.
Everybody's different.
So I want to talk a little bit about buying and leasing in a minute, but I do want to tease out one of our sponsors, Personal Touch Car Wash. Brett's going to do the ad in a minute. but
Yes, absolutely.
What's the we have a very special, exciting promotion tonight.
Even for ex-Jaguar dealers like you, Michael.
I'm not joking.
A free car wash.
So
Free car wash.
free
That's
car
right.
wash, but
Look at that.
we only have what, 5 of them?
We have 5. And it's going to be, you'll text the code, which will give you, what, in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, we'll do it at like at the 6 o'clock hour, right?
No catch. Just text, car wash. Done.
It's that simple.
All right.
Done.
So
Right.
just
And then you have to actually get the car wash, too.
just teasing it out there. So that's Personal Touch Car
Perfect.
Wash. We'll come back to that in a minute. So Brett asked a serious question. It was a very smooth transition, asking
Super
you
smooth.
about buying and leasing. So for people that don't understand the real nuances of it, you told me something actually at like 19. I felt like I learned a lot from you about the car business when you were selling cars. I was 18, 19 years old. And you were telling me about leasing. You're like, leasing's the right way to go. You said the quote from Henry Ford is, buy things that go
Up in value, right.
and you lease things that go down in value, right? And I know that was part of the leasing sales pitch. When should a person lease and when should a person buy? I know there's a lot of things to
So
think
I'll
about.
go a step further. I don't believe in buying or leasing anything.
All right.
So
Okay.
Ubers, again.
Game over. Let's go back to Uber.
Ubers.
Should we be investing
No, the
in
truth
Tesla?
of the matter is
Uber? What are we
taxis.
doing?
What people
Bitcoin?
confuse,
You want us to buy
listen,
Bitcoin, Mike?
Doesn't matter who they are.
Bumming friends.
People
Bumming rides off friends.
confuse and elude themselves. They stress themselves out over buying versus leasing.
Okay.
I've done this long enough to tell you that the old school people believe in buying. They don't care if they do 2,000 miles or if they do 200,000 miles a year. Doesn't matter. In their mind,
I own
they
something.
have to own something. Correct.
Because after 3 years, I'm giving something back and I've been
And
making all
the
those
truth
payments
of the
and I
matter
got
is it
nothing.
doesn't matter.
Because
The collateral's still got to get paid for. It doesn't matter. If it's a lease, what they don't realize is guys like me lease their cars. If it's a lease, the collateral still has to be paid for by the bank. So if it's a $30,000, I'm going back, but let's say it's a 40.
Let's say it's a $14,000 brand new
20-year-old car, right?
right, so
If it's a $40,000 Jeep, I'm
$40,000
driving a Grand Cherokee. Okay, if it's a
Right.
$40,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and you cut that in half. Let's use round numbers. It's $20,000. We'll put that towards the back. That's the residual value. In a finance, if you put $20,000 down, you still owe $20,000. It's the same shit.
right.
But people confuse themselves with, well, I want to own. Well, the bank owns my title if I lease it. Congratulations. Because if you trash that car and you crash it up, it's totaled, guess what? The bank owns it. So I like to take something new every 3 years and say, I'm going to put a little bit of money down and lease the bank's car. It's great. Because if you drive 20,000 miles a year, you pay for the mileage. Doesn't matter. You pay for what you use. But here's one for you. Let's say your dad goes out. My mom's 73 years old. She goes out and leases a car. At the end of her lease, if she only drove 2,000 miles a year, she gets to buy it if it's still worth more money.
Right.
So why wouldn't you lease it and roll your dice, take the chance?
Right. And
But the collateral's still got to be paid for, buy or lease. It doesn't matter. There's other variables that go into it. There's interest rates on the buy. Depends on how high it is. There's interest rates on the lease. You could pay a money factor that's small on a lease and then buy it out and end up
Like a
paying
balloon
interest rates on
payment
that again.
type thing, right?
Let's say
Yeah.
interest rates go through the roof. You're going to end up paying that. There's balloons that go in. But the bottom line is the collateral's got to get paid for. Collateral's got to get paid for, no matter how you cut it. That's it.
okay, now that makes sense.
So why wouldn't you tell your parents, who you know, like my stepdad, rest his soul, he passed away. He used to drive to Staten Island. Okay, he would come to my desk and he'd say, "Okay, I want to buy my car." He's old school Italian. I gotta buy my.
Is there
car.
any other kind?
Right? Is there any?
All right.
Kind?
Old school Italian.
I gotta buy my car. Okay, buy your car. Go ahead, buy your car. So he said to me, "Yeah, I've always bought my cars. What's the matter with you? I want to buy my car." Okay, great. So he would look at a Taurus back in the day, and he'd say, "What's the lease?" I'd say, "What's the lease? What do you care? You just told me you always buy your cars." Well, here. So if I buy it, it's $369 a month. If I lease it, it's $329 a month. So why wouldn't I just pay for it and own it? Well, you don't own it anyway when you buy it until it's paid off. So why wouldn't you lease it, and then in 3 years from now you can
Decide if you want to buy it.
pick out another one?
Or
Decide if you want to buy it.
right, or get the
but
new version
he
of
drove
it.
to Staten Island, so 20,000 miles a year at the end. You could pay for those miles
Up
on
front.
your lease up front.
Right.
Why wouldn't you do that? You hedge your bets on where the car's going to be in 3 years from now, totaled or not, and pick out another one in 3 years. He was like, so from then on, all he ever did was lease his cars. But everybody's situation's different. If you said to me, my mom, your mom, I know your mom, if she wants to drive 5,000 miles a year,
Leave my mom out of this.
right. Buy the car 5,000 miles a
talk about
year.
my mom.
Let her keep the car for. She can keep the car 5,000 miles a year for 10 years. She buys it for 5 years. Payments. At the end of the 5 years, she has no payments. So now she can go another 5 years, no payments. If she's
Right.
only doing 5,000 miles a year, when she pays off the car, she's got 5,000 times 5 years. It's 25,000 miles. The car's like new. Great, but it's the same shit.
But that's me though. I'm the buyer. I've always bought my cars. This is the first car that I bought, which I bought a year ago, and I did it through. It's actually a one-off lease at Novak Motors in
I love Novak.
Farmingdale.
Big fan of Novak.
Yeah, so that
Great
was
people.
that was a good experience for me.
Yep.
I bought a couple-year-old car, one-off lease, but I hate
2 years old.
2 years old.
Yep.
I hate
What was it?
payments. 2017 CRV.
Okay. So crazy. My ex-wife, same thing.
I bought
Just
it from
before
her.
we
She
split, we ended up
works at Novak
right,
now.
exactly.
And
we
she
bought a
sold it to me.
CRV. As we split, she ended up getting a CRV, and that's what she drives today.
Right. And-
but she stole it.
And her
Great
and I,
deal.
but her and I share that. Your wife, ex-wife,
That makes sense.
Share that
Yeah, that probably-
CRV.
that might
So
be the
we had to
case.
think about the mileage
Right.
aspect of it.
So
'cause,
now-
like, she's got
How
it
many
on
miles
the-
do you drive?
Exactly.
How many miles
So
do I
because
drive?
It
you're
was
a
so messed
buyer,
up.
in all seriousness, you're a buyer.
I'm a buyer.
How many miles a year do you drive?
Maybe 10,000. I'm thankfully close enough to work.
Right. So at the end
so-
of 5 years, you'll have 50,000 miles on top of what you have on.
And the last car that I had, my Honda Civic, I had it for about 15 years.
And you want to keep it forever. No
I
payments.
hate monthly payments.
So there you
but
go.
so
There's
that's for me personally.
Correct.
Although I do enjoy.
Then you're a guy for buying.
I love monthly payments.
But either way, the collateral gets paid off.
Right.
And by the way, you're talking about two different things: new car versus new car, and new car versus buying a used car.
Right.
Used car, once it suffers depreciation, you might get a deal on that car.
Right.
Novak's known for that.
Right.
You get a great deal there.
Yeah, it really was a good experience there.
Yeah.
As far as
Novak, if you're listening and you want to be a sponsor,
thank you so much. Right over
just
there in
call
Farmingdale.
516.
No, they are very good.
Hi, I'm Brett, and I love Novak. Right, that's what I do. That's
what you
how
do.
we do it.
Good job.
Where my parents for years they bought all their cars, but for the last 10 years they've gotten into leasing. So I don't know what changed in
They
their
like
mind.
to pick out a new one.
I guess I don't know what
are they
changed in
driving
their
now?
mind. Right now they have also a Honda Accord.
Okay.
So that's a 2018.
Are they doing miles?
Not really. No.
So then they might want to buy.
So you
Either
th-
that
so-
or they
so
do
that's
a
good
low
question.
miles lease, 7,500. Listen, the bank doesn't lose.
Right.
The bank's going to turn around and say, you know what? How many miles a year do you do? Okay, we'll do 7,500 miles a year. Good. Then we know how much we're going to bring that car back at.
Right.
We don't want to lose.
Exactly.
That's the
and,
thing.
and, a lot of dealerships, they can give you deals. I feel like Honda in general as a whole, and correct me if I'm wrong, they always want that down payment for a lease.
Anybody.
Twen-
Any store.
like my wife got her Equinox.
Mm-hmm.
She got a good deal. She barely had to put anything down.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Honda, when we went searching for her Equinox is going to be up in May. So we're going to be going through that too.
Got an Equinox. Did she
Right.
put any trade in?
No, we got it because she got into an accident.
Okay.
And
You had a check?
And so we had and a check.
Okay.
And so,
So what'd you
we
put
need
down?
something. I want to say maybe it was like something very small,
First
like
month,
500
fees.
something like first month and fees, something
Okay,
like
So
that.
it could be 500. They rolled the taxes in. And what are you paying for that lease?
I think she is paying like I don't know. I don't know because it's not my payment, but
Right.
it's an affordable monthly
Sue,
payment.
if you're listening, if you wouldn't
Sue,
mind just
call in
sharing
right
what you're
away.
paying a month,
Could
that
you
would be great.
just text me that now?
Right.
Hey, could you? It's affordable and it's a good deal. And she got help with it through a coworker's husband who loves negotiating all this stuff.
Right.
Go to this place, ask for so and so. So it worked out. Unfortunately,
And she's leasing.
And she's leasing, and she's
How many miles a year?
We negotiated for 12,000 because we usually drive.
And what'd she drive?
Now this year, because of the pandemic, she was at home most of the time,
Okay.
working from home.
See what I mean?
So she might have done 9,000 this year. So we might be able to, because that's always the thing too. The difference between 10 and 12,000. There was like, oh, we can't do that. We can't do that.
Right.
So we were able to get the 12,000 miles at a 10,000 mile dollar.
Right.
With the 10,000 mile price.
At least that's what they told you.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
But this was a good deal
Right.
because we did shop around a little bit. So I don't know what we should do on both fronts. Should my parents continue to? Let me go rewind back to the Honda part. Honda always seems to want with the leasing $2,500 down, around there. 2,000. There was like when we asked, there was no negotiating that aspect.
Not accurate. That's not true.
Tell me where to go, please.
Not true.
By the way, my buddy Tom just said nothing says funny like auto financing. So I
Right?
think we're on the
Right.
right track, right?
Right. Perfect.
By the way, we started off slow, right, Sally? You're like, oh, how are we going to weave this? Brett's dad getting hit by a truck.
By a Suburban.
Right? You're like, oh, great job, Cars and Comedy, guys. Now we're talking about
Nope.
Now there's a lot to talk
residuals
about.
and leasing.
And here
So-
we are.
All right, sorry, you can finish.
Yeah, but you know what? This is something that's applicable to everybody.
Of course.
Right? Everybody
Totally.
buys a car.
I've got two
So-
people, Tom.
And by the way,
Close to me.
Kevin Epstein. Do you guys
I
know
can't
Kevin
see
Epstein?
that.
I don't know
My
Kevin
eyeglasses
Epstein.
are-
I know him
Well,
through Facebook.
Thank
right
you
here.
for watching, Kevin Epstein. He said two things. First, he said was buying or leasing a car is an all-day job, meaning
So,
I think people it's
I'm glad you
exhausting,
said
right?
that. That's great.
And
I'm
I
glad you said that.
I want you to talk about like tips on right because you always said too. It's got to be a fair deal between the buyer and the seller. The dealership's got to make money. You
Right.
can't think you're going to get one over on them and you're going to steal
Yeah,
the
but
car.
today that fair deal is so
Razor thin.
no, it's so prominent. You can find it. It's so existent. It's not hard to find.
Years ago, it was a struggle.
Years ago,
to-
it was smoke and mirrors.
All right. And then Kevin also said, which I think we should mention, was when you lease, less maintenance to worry about, right? So I guess if you're doing a 3-year lease, most cars at the very least have a powertrain
There's
336,
no
most a
maintenance.
bumper
There's
to bumper
no maintenance.
330.
You turn your keys back.
And the scary thing is, I think I told you, my wife's 2002 Audi A4, the transmission went at 90,000 miles. We own the car.
Correct. You got to pay for it.
It's $8,000 to
you go.
replace the transmission.
The
Congratulations.
transmission cost, I do not understand.
Astronomical.
Well, so many now they're
You got to have it.
now yeah, it's a big part.
You gotta
but
have it.
now they're like so computer, just like the engines are. Everything's so computerized. It's not like years ago you'd change a transmission for $800 or $1,200.
That's what
Right.
happened to my Mini Cooper. Remember, I used to have that little Mini Cooper, and then
there
they
you
told
go.
me that the transmission would be like double the cost of the car.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
Does your mom still have that Mini Cooper?
yes.
She
Well, I think
does.
they've released.
But again, see,
Yeah.
she loved that car. So she kept the miles low. She could have bought it. She could buy it and sell it. How about that? Look at the buyout. The collateral's got to get met. It's got to get paid for. So she looks at the buyout. It's 20 grand. My Jeep right now is 25,000. But because of the used car market, so ready? You mentioned COVID.
Right.
Because of COVID, the used car market has grown astronomically because Europe and the American manufacturers shut down their plants. So because you can't build and buy new cars as much, there's no allocation for new cars. What ends up happening is the used car market goes through the roof. So now my Jeep that I thought the buyout was 25, I can get 27 for because I stayed on the miles. They said if you're at 12,000 miles a year, you can buy it out for $25,000. I stayed 12,000 miles a year. They were wrong. The market went up on my Jeep because used car values are more prominent today. So now if I want, I take my most people don't know this, by the way. If you take your car today,
Insider alert. Everyone paying attention.
if you take your car today that you're up on your lease, most people are going into the dealership and they're handing their keys in and they're saying, "Hey, guess what? My lease is up. I'm done. I need a new one. Pick me out a green one." Great. However, what's on their buyout, they have profit in. So what they should really be saying is, my lease buyout is 25 grand, but I think I can get 27.5. What will you give me for that car? It's a big difference today.
That's interesting.
So, and I think that's only caused by COVID, whereas the banks usually prognosticate what that value is, and
But it's
they're
an
right on it.
adverse effect
They
right
have,
now.
listen to me, they have actuarians. They know, they have insurance, residual insurance that protects the bank from where they put that car out at. So when it comes back, my Jeep, for example, is coming back at 25 grand. If I drove 40,000 miles, it'd be worth a little less than that, typically. If I drove 20,000 miles, it would be worth a little more than that. But now because of COVID and the used car market versus the new car market, it's worth more anyway. So something for people to keep in mind.
Interesting. I want to call out
Another reason to lease, by the way.
My dad is watching.
Oh, no.
Rich Galati.
Oh, no.
He's not trying to stump you, Mike.
Oh, no.
But he wrote, the problem I have is most leases are geared to 39 months. And again, most warranties are 36. So 3 year 36,
Right.
not a good scenario. So is that basically is that the dealership or the car manufacturers trying to get one over on you?
So no. So two things I have to say about that. He's not 100% correct in saying most leases are 39 months. But he is accurate to say that there's a lot of leases that are 39 months when there are 36,000 mile warranty. What I would say is at the end of the 36 months, then go up your lease. Go see what's out there. If you're afraid of the 3 extra months, or you roll your dice. That's the only chance. And, you know, being a conservative, I wouldn't say that you necessarily want to roll your dice. But at the same time, 3 years, 36,000 miles. If it's 39 months, usually that's an outside bank. An outside lender does 39 months. 36 months is usually by the factory. And usually even the outside banks have an option for a 36. They tell you the 39 because they want you to realize the lower payment. But the 36 is still available. So 36 months, 36,000 miles a year, that's 36,000 miles, for 3 years, that's what you really want. He's right. But if you had to really get rid of it 3 months early, that's probably the best case scenario in a 39 month. Take the lower payment and get rid of it 3 months early.
Is there usually a benefit to getting rid of your lease early? If the dealership allows it, or whoever you're going to, whatever.
So it depends on the time of the year. Is there a benefit to getting rid of your lease early? Not typically. But if it's President's Week, signifies the selling season, and there's $3,000 in rebates back on all the Grand Cherokees, then you want to get in then.
Okay.
Because that's the time of year you should grab that $3,000 extra dollars.
What's the benefit to the dealership to paying off your lease early?
None. Just get you in another car.
Okay.
That's it.
Just to keep you going.
The profit.
None.
Okay.
Another sale, get you in another car.
Another unit out.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, I have my last payment that's due on my Grand Cherokee. My lease is up the end of the month, the 29th or something like that. So my last payment was just due. All said and done, I could actually walk into a dealership and say, take that last payment, roll into my next lease. They get another sale. I get into a new car. I have 36,400 miles on my lease right now. So, and I got news for you. If COVID didn't exist, I'd probably be at 40-something thousand miles. But I didn't drive as much. I didn't have to go anywhere. So I lucked out on this lease. Again, roll your dice. If I had to spend the extra money on the lease, I would spend the extra money on the lease.
So how
I'd roll it into my next lease.
How can my parents get a good deal on their lease next? Because I feel like they keep having to pay $2,000, $2,500 down, and then an okay payment monthly. I feel like they're not getting what they.
So 2 comments.
Yes.
If they're putting down $2,500, you say they keep having you put down $2,500. That's nothing. In the grand scheme of things, to get to their payment where they'd want to be,
Right.
they'd have to put a lot more money down because don't forget the collateral's got to be met. So if it's a $30,000 car, Honda Accord, they put $15,000 as the residual.
Right.
Your parents are going to pay $15,000 on payments. It's got to be met. So why wouldn't they put the $15,000 and pay the $2,500 down, which is first month taxes,
Right.
as opposed to putting $15,000 down and owning collateral that could get smashed,
Right.
that anything could happen, that they could drive over the miles and it go down in value, anything. Paint could wear, whatever it could be.
Right.
Why not just lease the car? And again, by the way, in this market, we're probably 80%, maybe more, 90%, closer to 90% leasing penetration here in this market.
But why wouldn't his parents, like if your parents' love are the Accords, they don't die. Why wouldn't like his family just buy it and never have to worry about it again?
They can.
It'll be around for 20 years.
And like I said before, I said they for years they were buyers. I don't know what switched, especially
They like the low payment.
I guess.
And not for nothing, but
know,
there's no
but they're
cash
paying
outlay.
Laura, if you're
But they're
watching, please call in.
But they're paying it still. They have a payment every single month with like little income coming in.
There's
You know,
no
because they were
cash
older.
outlay. They get to keep their money in the bank and pay a low payment. No maintenance. Who said low maintenance? No maintenance.
You know it is okay.
Great.
That actually makes sense as far as the maintenance
Right.
part and that thing because
Tom
okay,
did
I
a
know.
transmission for $8,000.
Right.
Why do your parents want to do a transmission? You got to do tires. In my lease, it's 3 years. This month's 3 years. I never did tires. I never
Right.
did wiper blades.
Okay, that
Tires
makes
on an
sense.
SUV
You
are
didn't do
now
wiper
like
blades in
I
3
didn't even
years.
do wiper blades.
What's wrong with you?
I think I put antifreeze in. I don't even know.
Let's go get you wiper blades after
Right,
this.
Do that?
exactly.
Brett, you got to
I'm
read.
turning the keys in. I don't
Is there
have to worry about
AutoZone?
it.
Personal
AutoZone
touch.
nearby?
Yeah,
Included.
Autos. Is there an advance?
Why would
Auto
I
parts
do
that wanna
wiper blades?
sponsor
I'm going
this?
to turn the keys in.
All right.
Does
Personal touch car wash.
Do they does personal touch car wash?
They have wipers, Mike.
Oh, they do have
Yeah.
wiper blades?
So if you want to go.
We'll go there.
Well,
So-
you know,
it's not gonna
so
rain
that's
until
another
Thursday.
thing. When you take your car back, you should have a car wash first.
Yeah, good
On
idea.
every single
Actually-
lease return, you should definitely take your car and get it washed.
Prior to.
It's going to show up better
because
before their inspection.
Dents, dings, you own it.
Right.
You own it. Dents, dings, they're yours.
Right.
On a lease, dents, dings, you roll them out, you turn it back.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Do the read for a personal touch.
Well, so and if you have a lease that's going to get turned in very soon, just like Mike said over here, you can go to Personal Touch Car Wash, and they have 2 locations: East and Northport, 1977 East Jericho Turnpike. That's when you go to, correct?
That's when I go to.
Bohemia, 1261 Lakeland Avenue. They have unlimited car washes starting at $23.95 a month. That's a good deal. So you get
Such a deal.
you get it washed as much as you want for the
See what I
month
mean?
leading up before you trade it in.
So now
So
if
it's good. You know it's going to be so clean now.
you have no cash outlay
No cat.
Right.
and you're leasing, you could use that money to get your car washed once
Correct.
a week.
That's it.
And so I want to get you started, Mike. We'll give you a free car wash. Would you like that?
I would definitely.
Of course you
Where
would.
is this?
Of course you would.
How does he get a free
The
car
highest.
wash?
Right.
Well,
Tell me.
all you have to pick up your phone right now. 844
Right.
51
Hold on.
8.
No, you're doing the cadences wrong. You
I'm
don't get.
dialing?
I know. I'm
You don't
making
give
sure
a
he had his phone.
Here, you
I
want
was
to
going
dial
too
for
fast
me?
for him. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
844
Yep.
518 0909. And what you're going to do,
Yep.
you're going to text Elwood, like Elwood, Long Island, like Elwood.
EL.
Hold on a second.
Wood.
I got a text now.
That's fine. Just
You got to
you're gonna
text
that.
Elwood.
Hold on.
So that's
But
what
wait,
we're
it's
going to do.
only Mike. So now we have 4 left. If Mike's doing it right now.
So we have 4 left now. We had 5. We have 4 left.
Thanks a
Elwood.
lot, Mike.
This is like our
Elwood?
rice-a-roni. Elwood. You text it to them.
Right.
You're now
Is
going
that
to get
like
a free car wash.
Elroy.
What's up, Anselmo?
Elwood.
All right?
My boy
Yeah.
So now
Anselmo's
you've got
watching.
a free car wash. So the next 4 people who do that, 844 518
Good job.
0909.
I need
Text
to take my
Elwood.
car
Elwood.
for a wash before it goes back.
So how many do we have now? We have
We
4.
have
I'm gonna
four.
wash it and hand it back.
Did you get it? Did they receive it?
I hope so.
Hold on.
Did they say, thanks, Mike?
Oh, congrats!
All
You're
right.
about to join Personal Touch's exclusive text club
You're
for special
part of the family.
promotion.
Welcome aboard,
Congratulations.
buddy.
Give me special.
That's how
invites.
easy it is.
I get special
so now,
invites.
So
So
you
now
have 4
you
more.
can do it too. 4 more right now at 844 518 0909. Text ELWOOD.
Nice.
Personal Touch Car Wash. A dirty car.
Is a dirty shame.
There you go. Look at that. We didn't even plan that.
See that? We didn't even. We didn't rehearse it. We didn't
That was
rehearse
cute.
that.
That was cute.
We didn't rehearse
See, you know
that.
what's so
Let's do
nice?
that next week,
Tom,
too. All right,
after
sweet,
all
too.
these years, you
Excellent.
know each other. You finish each other's.
Right?
Sentences.
Right.
See that?
Good job.
ElwoodCarWash.com, by the way, if
Okay.
you want more details.
All right. What are we going to do now? Well, let's do some trivia. We're going to
Okay.
do some car trivia. First time ever.
Wow. Okay.
Cruising the Pike, Cars and Comedy.
Cruising the Pike. God.
And we got to get to Greg Henglein's car story, too. We have a lot to cover in 19 and a half minutes.
we'll do this trivia real quick.
All right, let's do some trivia. All right. I did not see these questions
How did you just get
beforehand.
water? I gotta get a water.
It's magic. It comes right from the ground here. There's one right There's a button right there.
Oh, there it is.
See it?
Good
Okay,
job.
so after you get these correct, you get a bottle of
All
water.
right, good.
Now,
All right, so I didn't see these questions.
I researched them.
Sally, did you see these questions?
There's
I
gifts
did
all
not.
around
Does
here.
Sally want to play too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mike's going to play.
I didn't see questions.
All right.
So
Stop. Now you're making it sound suspicious. We did not see these questions
All right.
ahead of time. Right, Sally?
Sally, did
Mainly
you see
because
him?
we don't care.
Did you see them or no?
No.
You didn't.
I didn't
okay.
see him.
you already got your free car wash,
All right.
Mike.
And
Don't
by the
worry
way, you
about
could
it.
play at home. I'm looking at the Facebook feed right now.
All right.
So if you want to put your answers in, maybe what we'll do is ask the question.
Okay.
We'll give our answers here because I know this Knock 'em Dead Comedy does it this way, and I think it's great. And then you'll go back and give the answers, and we'll rate and see how everyone did.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. First question.
Shoot.
The most popular car color in the USA for 2019 was what color?
Gray.
No.
White.
Yeah, I would say
gonna
pearl
say
white.
white. Pearl
I would
white.
I would go stretch
That they
and say pearl
actually
white.
buy.
White or pearl white. If not,
It's
it's
the most
black.
popular car color.
Buy or lease?
Buy, rent.
You going white, Tom?
I'm going white.
I'll
Not-
go black.
Racist.
Right.
Which one?
Here we go.
Oh, in that case, yeah.
Which
okay.
one?
I was gonna say. All right. All right. I'm gonna go.
It is white.
There you go.
right.
See?
Can I go beige and just go in between to
That
nice
was-
safe
There we
answer? It's
go.
not black
That
or
was
white.
right.
It's
That's
beige.
right.
I'm going beige.
And gray is a good
Okay.
middle color too.
All right, but don't give the answer until let's come back.
That
to
was
it.
our warm up one.
right.
So there we go.
Shoot.
So now we know. What is the body of a DeLorean made out of?
Oh, that's a good question.
Back to the Future DeLorean.
We have multiple choice?
I
No.
know the answer
Okay, go ahead.
just because
I'm
Because you
just
saw the
sorry, I know
questions.
everything.
Go ahead.
it had a flux capacitor.
Correct.
Right. 1.21 gigawatts.
Gigawatts, right?
98 miles an hour.
That car was made out of stainless steel.
That's accurate.
Yeah, stainless steel.
You believe that? You
I
know it?
believe it?
I believe that. Yeah.
Deal
I believe it.
or no deal?
I believe that's accurate.
Okay. Would you like
Not
to
what
phone
I
a
do.
friend, Sally? Would you like to phone a friend?
Now what do I do? I sit and wait?
Yes. All right.
Perfect.
Anyone? All right. So, Anselmo said white. All right. Good. We got a lot of participation in here. Anselmo and Anselmo.
job.
Kevin Epstein says black. Okay. So we know that one. The actual answer was white.
All right.
Okay. So Ahmed El Khatib. He's watching.
Ahmad!
What's up, Ahmed?
He says white. He's
so he
right.
was right. All right. Next question.
And we're waiting on the answer.
actual
I didn't give
answer.
you the
Wanna go
actual
to DeLorean?
answer.
Back
No,
to
you
the
don't have to
deal.
wait because there's about a 2-minute delay. So
Okay,
just
so-
I'll
carry
wait.
on.
I got time.
All right. Carry on.
All right.
We can
carry
wait.
on.
It's two
No,
minutes.
That's
So
true,
what do you
though.
think?
I think it is. It's stainless steel, isn't it?
We'll find out in a minute.
All right, go
All right.
ahead.
Which car
Let's
company?
get to the program,
Question
yeah.
number 3. Which car company makes the famous Carrera model?
Porsche.
Which car company
Sally.
makes the famous
That's
Carrera
my
model?
answer.
What did Sally say?
She's right.
What'd you say?
Porsche.
Oh,
Did you say
Porsche, like Jaguar.
That's accurate.
Okay.
Jaguar.
and Porsche.
I thought it was always Jaguar, by the way. Jaguar.
Jaguar is what
But
the
you watch the
British
commercials
say.
and they always say
Correct.
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Is the animal called a jaguar?
If you ask
or
them,
did
it
a hoity,
is.
or did the,
That's accurate. If you ask
or
them, it
was
is.
did it take a hoity-toity car company to call it Jaguar?
No.
Remember the commercials from years ago? Farfignuken from Volkswagen.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I've been watching Peaky Blinders. I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
Peaky Blinders, they all have secretaries. We don't have secretaries. We have secretaries.
Secretaries.
But they have
Secretary-
secretaries. And they had them many years ago.
Secretaries.
Right.
Same shit.
Okay.
Okay?
Next question.
Got it.
Are we going back to the second question answer, or we're just
Are we going back to the future?
We're just going
No.
back. Just go.
My dad said stainless steel.
Right. He's right.
And Selmo said make the questions harder.
Oh, so sorry.
Right.
Wow.
And some.
Well, yeah. If I'm getting the answers,
Come on.
that's a
Give yourself
little.
some credit.
Oh my God. but
You might
yes.
be dumbing
Chris,
it down.
All right, so
Chris
Carrie,
said stainless. Yes,
right.
it is.
Carrie's
stainless
asking
steel.
what was the year for number one?
2019.
2019, Carrie.
The most popular car color in the USA for 2019 was white.
All right.
So that's what we got. What is the body of the DeLorean made out of? After all the guesses in this room and on Facebook Live, it is stainless steel, as
There
you
you
said.
go.
And which car company makes the famous Carrera model? We're holding off on that answer. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I see some answers flying in now.
Dial
They're
it
all
in.
flying
There
in.
they
We gotta
are.
Make these questions harder.
Your father's in there, Tom.
Yeah. Rich Galati, Porsche.
Kevin says Porsche. Carrie says Porsche. And Tom's dad
Galati.
says
Yep.
Porsche too. The answer is Porsche. Correct.
correct.
And you have
And
to
I'm
say
surprised
Porsche.
Christine didn't chime in with. Christine has liked Porsche since she was in high school, and she always used to say it's Porsche, not Porsche.
Right.
Right? Everyone wants to call
She's
it
not
Porsche.
wrong.
It's Porsche.
So,
She's not wrong.
So Christine and Sally both knew that.
Yeah.
Long-
And you said
long-
Porsche,
long-
right?
She
Or
did, right
okay.
away.
Maybe
All
it
right.
was too easy.
All right.
Kick it
Tom
up a
Ogren
notch,
said,
Brad.
depending
I
on what kind
apologize.
of accent you have. Is that a German accent, Jaguar or Porsche? All right.
What kind of snake is Dodge's two-door V10 coupe?
Kind of snake. Dodge's V10 coupe.
I believe that's a question that I read.
I mean, Viper.
Michael,
I'm
took me a
going with
second.
Viper.
Sally,
I'm going with Viper also.
Can you name that tune in 3 notes?
You don't want to say like rattlesnake to be different?
No.
All right.
the next question, which we'll get back to that answer.
I'm
in
different
just a
in other
second.
We're going to make them harder next show.
I'm
We're getting
different
there.
enough.
Which popular 1960s American car was affectionately known as the GOAT?
Oh. I know the answer. Well, I think I know the answer. This way everyone can play along.
I mean, you think
My
you know.
father, I guess this would be a good hint. My father belongs to the Pontiac Club. So Rich Galati, I know for sure, knows the answer.
You want
It's
to
a
wait for him
Pontiac.
to chime in?
It's a Pontiac. You want me to tell you the answer?
Sure.
GTO.
Correct.
Pontiac GTO.
I mean, I think it's correct. Brett will let us know.
Pontiac GTO.
You let me know when you're ready
My
for the
father
answer.
had a 64 Pontiac Grand Prix, which actually looked like the GTO. And
But it didn't have positive traction.
no. Actually, it might have, but I don't know.
It might have. No, I
Right.
just made that up.
All right. Answers coming in. Viper, Viper, Viper. All right,
That's
we're
correct. So question 4, what kind of snake is Dodge's two-door V10 coupe? Viper. Dodge Viper. And which popular 1960s American car was affectionately known as the GOAT? The 1965 Tom Brady. That is the answer there. So your dad owned the Pontiac
Yeah,
Tom
yeah,
Brady.
yeah.
Tom Brady.
Amazing
Pontiac Tom
car.
Brady.
Pontiac
64.
GTO is the correct answer.
He had a
64.
Pontiac Tempest.
Yes. I.
Identical.
Identical.
Right.
So if you got any of those answers right and you were the top 5 people to text Elwood to, what was that number again? Just in case there's any left.
844-518-0909. So to the 4 people left watching, you can text that and Elwood to 844-518-0909 and you get yourself a free car wash. Just like Mike did. Mike, you did a live right on the
I mean,
air.
I got it.
Right on the air, he did it.
I got it.
Right
crazy.
on the air.
All right. So actually, Sally, can you put up the picture of the Facebook post that I shared with you? I want to just take a minute on this. I was trying to get him to dial in. Greg Hengline, that we went to high school with, Mike, had a post on Facebook the other day. He had a car that went 200,000 miles. And it's...
Oh, yeah. You know what? Hold on. Just 1 second. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
All right. So I thought it was just really cool that he shared it out, and I reached out to him to see if he can dial in. I think he's going college. I think he's looking at colleges for his one of his kids right now. And what I thought was cool about it was he didn't just say, "Hey, here's," and he even said, "I'm not a car guy." He says, "I can appreciate a nice car, but I'm not a car guy."
Right.
But this car here that I had, it went 200,000 miles, and he just said he listed out. He's also an editor for Newsday, which is cool. He's very eloquent in his posts.
I mean, I haven't talked to him in got to be 25 years. And what I always loved about him, he's so
Eloquent,
he's so
handsome, good looking,
genuine.
good kisser.
He's gonna tell it like it is. Like you just
Right.
said, he said he's not a car guy.
Right, and it's
that's
funny.
him.
Even
he's
politics.
gonna tell you like it is. He's
Right.
not a car guy.
Right.
He doesn't profess to be one. He's not gonna pretend. He's just very genuine.
And a great freestyle
guy.
rapper, too.
Yes.
That's what I loved about him.
Yep.
I get all of my political commentary on Facebook because I feel like that's where you should get it.
Correct.
Right on.
No, but it was just Greg. I don't even know where he leans politically, but I feel like he just presents both sides and he finds hypocrisy on both sides. So,
Right.
but anyway, he's good, great guy all
Yeah.
around. But what was just kind of cool was, and it got me thinking, like when we recently sold our house and bought another house, and I remember I got choked up because I'm like, this is where we brought our kids home from the hospital, and this is right here. That
Right.
thing on the wall
Yeah.
is where.
Sentiment.
And that's what he was doing. He was just saying he said, listen, we brought our kids home in the hospital in this car, and we went to 47 soccer tournaments, and
Right.
and he goes, it's just that's what's difficult about giving this car up right now. It's not because I'm in love with this car, because it's an amazing car, and I think that's cool. So I was joking with Brett when I read the post. I'm like, I think we should have an in memoriam each time, like they do for the Oscars or the Golden
Right.
Globes. So when someone gets rid of a car and maybe you turn 200,000 miles, send it to the show and we'll highlight you as our in memoriam rest in peace car segment.
Right.
Is it easy just to like I remember like back in the day I had a Toyota Tercel and I had it for like 150,000 miles. And when it came time to go, I'm like, why? So I just like I actually paid $400 for them just to drop another engine in, and I had it for like another like 60.
Oh, really? Good for you.
I'm like as like cheap of an ass as you can have.
Good for you.
And yeah, I'm like for $400. Yeah.
So just so I'm clear, you didn't lease it.
Like I did not lease it, but
was a
do
really
they
good deal.
do things
Right.
like that anymore? Like I know there's like things you just don't do anymore. Like I learned how to. I don't want to be like, oh, back in the day I walked to school in the snow. Like
Right.
like I learned how to change tires. Like now
Right.
like it's a
No,
little bit
everyone
more.
calls AAA
It's
or
a little
as Geico
more
or
difficult.
whatever.
I
Yeah.
don't. You know.
I think
Do
a
they-
lot of the services on the cars have become commoditized because of the amount of people here that do them. So if you go upstate New York, you won't find that that's the case. There'll be one guy who does a hell of a tire change or does an amazing transmission service. But down here, there's so many people that do it, it becomes commoditized. To your point, it costs you how much money to put a new engine in?
$400.
Okay, so
No brainer.
that's a no-brainer. I mean, I spent $400 a tire.
Right.
Why
Now,
would you-
right.
That's why when my transmission crapped out, I was like, okay, a whole engine, you know,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
20 years
Do
ago
it.
was
Right.
$400. So why are transmissions?
And what were you paying on the car at the time?
the
Payments?
Tercel? Nothing. 'Cause
Exactly.
I had it. Yeah.
Right. So again, she probably drove low miles. That car helped her for how many years? Why would you consider leasing? How much were you driving a year?
Well,
Miles.
you know, probably 15, but I was living in LA at the time, so that's all you do out there.
Oh, right.
Right.
But average 15,000 miles a year?
Yeah, pretty much.
And you had it how many years?
For like so long, like I don't know, easy 12 years.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So you probably finished that car with like 170,000 miles or something like that. Yeah. I mean, it's a no-brainer to put a new engine.
Yeah,
I mean,
$400, that's
unless
great.
you want something new, that's the advantage of leasing, right? Crazy.
So back to the leasing car. How does my wife get the same deal that she got the first time, or at least close to it? If she goes back to the same dealership, how can she get that same deal?
So I urge-
what tips can she do to? What things can she say to get the deal that she wants from the same dealership?
So I urge everybody today. I'll answer that twofold.
To text Elwood to 844. No, okay.
right.
I urge
Clean the
everybody
car
today
first, right?
to look at the value of the car they're driving based on the miles that they drove.
Okay.
If I, again, had drove 5,000 miles a year, my car that's going back for a buyout of $25,000 would go back probably closer to 30. So in essence, I could buy it for 25 and sell it for 30. And the process doesn't go like that. I don't have to finance it to buy it for 25 and then sell it to the dealer. Basically, you go to the dealer and say, listen, I know my car is worth more today because I drove it less. So I urge everybody, including Sue, to look at the buyout versus what that car's really worth today. And there's a lot of places she can go to find out what that car's worth today. One of them is a company I worked for many years called Cars.com. I wholly submit that she should go to Cars.com, see what the value is. Kelly Blue Book, everybody knows. Edmunds, a lot of them are outdated by the time they actually give values. But Cars is a great reference because it scans the market in and of where we are. So you'd look at, let's say, Westchester is very different than where we are in Nassau, Suffolk. So the values may be skewed because of where you are. Having said that, I urge everybody to look at that. That's point number one. Point number two is to pay attention to what the sale prices are at the time. President's Week, as I said before, the numbers are going to be great. Okay? In December, if it's a Lexus, the December to Remember event might be crushing. Might be amazing to go
What
get
if it's
yourself an
Toyotathon?
RX.
Or
Toyotathon.
Happy
whatever it may
Honda
be.
Days.
Toyotathons,
What if it's
I mean,
Happy
there's
Honda
always
Days?
Toyotathons. Honda Days, I mean, maybe. But
Every day's
I
a
never
Honda
know if I
day.
should wish someone a happy Toyotathon or a happy
Or
Honda
Honda
days.
Right, exactly.
I always just say happy automotive sales event.
I tell everybody that's what you have to look at. Those two factors, and you'll be right where you need to be. Otherwise, call me and I'll take you to a Honda.
Does
I
it
definitely
does
will.
it still help to do things like like go later in the day so you're not stuck there all day
good question.
long? Like
I mean,
like the
Tom
last
referenced.
day of the month.
It's a good question.
or-
Tom referenced. Somebody had said that they spend days in a dealership. The average amount of time that I last knew, and might be a year or two ago, that it takes a customer to buy a car is 4.6 days. That has changed because of digital retailing. There are customers that want to go buy their car from their living room, and they can start the process and actually make it so that 4.6 days goes down to two days.
2.9.
It doesn't sound much better, but it is, believe me. There are software programs that I've sold to car dealers that allow the customer to buy their car in a matter of 45 minutes. And I highly recommend, and customers don't know what that site would be, but there's several sites that dealers host that a customer can go on and buy their car from their living room really quickly.
All right, wait. I got to do one more live read.
Go ahead.
Can you put up the logo for Hollywood Motors USA? So another awesome sponsor of
Mikey
the show,
D.
Mike DeLucia from
Mikey
Hollywood
D.
Motors. You talk about nice guys in the car business.
Great guy.
I was going to say you, but I'm talking about Mike
Right.
DeLucia, not Mike
He
Murphy.
is a great guy.
He is really great, and I know a lot of people that have done business with him. I've sold 2 cars to him, and I think I've mentioned on the show before that my joke to him was, "Listen, I know what you're going to do. You're
Right.
going to lowball me. You're going to wave cash in my face." And he said, "Listen,
Let's cut the bullshit,
Let's
right.
cut the shit, right? I want your car. I want to put it on
He's
my
a
lot, and I
gentleman.
want to sell it."
Gentlemen.
And he said, "I'll make you a good deal so that you're happy, I'm happy, the buyer who buys it from me is happy." He's always churning cars,
Yep.
which is great. He goes through a lot of
He
a lot
loves
of
the
inventory.
action. I've had drinks with him. He's a great guy.
So if you could put up a picture of the Cadillac. So I wanted to feature each show. I'm going to feature one really cool car. So now these are cars like you'll see occasionally has some like really nice, something exotic, something crazy, numbers matching, right? Other times you look and say, "Hey, I can get into a car for a reasonable amount of money. I can go to the car shows. I can go to cruise nights. I can take my family out for a really cool ride in a cool car." So this is a 1984 Cadillac Eldorado
Oh my God.
Barretts.
Barretts.
All right, can you see
Correct.
you see the picture of the car up on the screen?
Cadillac Eldorado
Okay.
Barretts.
So this car,
Jeez.
it's triple white.
2-door coupe.
It's the best color combination. It's white
Unbelievable.
with a white roof, and it has red
It's
carpeting.
ridiculous. How
Right?
many miles?
This car looks like it's straight
How
out
many
of
miles?
Goodfellas. It's got 28,000 original miles, clean Carfax.
Car's dead new on the clock.
It's the last year. It probably has the new car smell. This car is barely broken in. So 28,000 original miles, clean Carfax. You see the picture up there. The car is gorgeous. What would you expect to pay for this car, Mike?
I don't know. My mom had that. She had an 83 Riviera, which was like the poor man's Cadillac, and the swing out 2-door coupe with the amazing leather. Everything was diamond in that car back in the day. I would assume that car's got to go for upwards of, it's got to be 40 grand.
Lower.
Really?
Yeah, you're wrong.
30s?
Why don't you cut that number in half?
No, stop it. Really?
He has that car up for $19,900.
With how many miles?
28,000 original miles.
Oh
The car's
my
like
God,
brand new.
The car's dead new. It'll run
You-
another 10 years.
You'll roll in.
That's a good deal for
It
that
is. It's
car.
a great deal. And like
Yeah.
that's the thing with Mike. You
That's
watch
a
Barrett Jackson and you say,
classic.
I can't afford to
Right,
get a cool
exactly.
car. But
Can afford to go. What are you kidding me? Get a cool car.
for the ticket.
Barrett's expensive.
So HollywoodMotorsUSA.com.
Jeez.
Reach out to them.
That's a good deal.
Tell them you saw this car
Maybe
on
trade my
Cruising the
Mustang.
Pike from Governor's Radio.
Mike, you take trades, Mike?
Cars and Comedy with Tom and Brett. Tell him you saw the car here.
Deal.
And if you see another car that he has that you like better, tell him you saw that car here.
It's a coupe.
It's gorgeous.
That's pretty.
It's a convertible.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. 2 doors.
I've seen some of the cars. So I live North Massapequa, Farmingdale border, and I'll frequent the cafe and hang out in the neighborhood. That whole neighborhood where everybody hangs out. And Mario or Tommy,
Big time Tommy.
They're great guys. I always see them in town. They're always around, and I want to say that I may have seen Tommy drive that car, but I don't know. It's been so long. With COVID, all of a sudden I'm like an Alzheimer's patient. I can't remember anything. But I feel like I've seen that car driving on like Sunrise Highway. I know he's got a place on Sunrise.
Yep.
But it looks so familiar to me. Look at the tires. I
gorgeous.
mean, it's dead new.
How are we doing on time, Sally?
Dead new.
Oh, we're good. If you could take a little bit more time.
Okay.
We're going to 10. Let's
All
go.
all good guys, by the way.
Yeah, no, great guys.
Yep.
I know people that have done a dozen deals with
Yep.
him, buying and selling.
Yep.
Anthony Pelletieri, like
Yep.
anyone you talk
I
to,
haven't seen him in God too long.
anyone you talk
Yep.
to says, Mikey D, just a
Gentleman.
stand-up guy, gentleman
Yep.
in the car business. So check out
And you know what's nice?
HollywoodMotorsUSA.com.
So what you said is accurate. If you just say to Mike, let's cut away the bullshit. It's just me and you.
Right.
They're just those kind of guys. And
The last car I sold to him
But classics.
I had a 2005 Celine Mustang. That had like
The red one.
25,000 miles
Yeah.
on it. It was really low.
Yep. Cherry red.
And I sat across the desk from him. My father drove me because my expectation was I was selling it to him, and my dad was going to drive me
Right.
home. And we sat across the desk from him, and all he did was pull up comps. Like say, look, here's what they're going for on eBay. Here's what they're going for here. This is what I think I can sell it for, and here's the number I can pay you. And he says the gap in between is what I can make on the car.
Yeah.
He's like, I got to keep the lights on here. I got a store on Sunrise Highway. He said, that's it.
I mean, much like the
It was a
cars,
fair deal.
They are classic people. Good
Yeah.
guys.
He's a great guy.
If you're looking for a classic car, I don't know many places
Where else are you
going to
go on Long Island, right? Where you could
He's
just
it.
And that's the thing too. A buddy of mine had said he was looking for a car as an investment, and he said he wanted a cool car to ride with his family. He says, but I want a good investment car.
Yep.
So I introduced him to Mike, and he got on the phone with him. He said, all right, give me the parameters of what you're looking for. He says, because he's got his finger on the
everything,
pulse of
right.
what's going on. So he said, I'll keep an eye out for it, and if I find it, I'll tell you what I can buy it for, and you'll get it. And
Right.
that's it. So I think we're good to wrap up, right, Sally?
Yep.
Anything else? Am I missing anything, Brett?
No, our questions have been answered.
So this was...
You have no more trivia? Nothing?
No.
Question number 6.
Come on, give it to us.
No, I don't have any more. I only had 5.
I'm done.
We'll
Next
do
time.
six on the next show. Mike, we're going to have you back again because
You kind of know what you're talking
you
about.
got more to say.
Little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There are some things I would like to talk about in the future about car gurus and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think
Marketing.
that'd be a great way to
Yep.
continue next time we have you on the show.
Yeah, advertising.
We'll be back in 2 weeks. We're doing the show every other Saturday here at Govs Radio. You can check us out at govsradio.com, on Facebook. We're live on YouTube and also on the Boxcast Smart TV app. So thank you,
Listen,
Mike.
it was great seeing both of you guys. And thank you
Absolutely.
for having me. I mean, I appreciate it. I loved it. Great
This-
seeing you. We don't see each other enough. Busy lives, kids, whatever, coming and going. And it's funny, we live so close to each other.
Literally.
We could
We're probably a
walk to
mile
each other's
away.
house.
well,
It's crazy.
don't start hanging out without me though, because
Yeah,
I'm gonna feel
we'd
left
lose the
out.
material.
No, we won't.
Right.
We wouldn't do that. Not at all.
Well,
Tomorrow, Mike.
I'll see you tomorrow. Right.
Okay,
5
we'll see you
o'clock.
then.